yeah, that role, I'm aware that that is a role that I've had, but I also need to be aware that there are times where you have to get out of the way. I am not the door through what people go through. Jesus is that door. I'm just pointing to the fact that there's a door here, or you can go through here, or you can access here, having found one. But as I've just sort of stopped being involved in the governmental meetings, it was part of that was I don't want to be a hindrance or an obstacle to people learning how to do things for themselves, because it's easy to rely on someone who knows what they're doing and to let them facilitate doing it. And I felt actually having 2 years of done enough facilitating and mentoring in this type of environment, in the government environment, actually, I don't want to be a blockage to people learning to go further and do their own thing in that, because they're, deferring to me. So there's definitely a sense where a forerunner has to be careful that they don't become a cork in the bottle or a blockage, that there's a limitation placed on things because, of me. I'm very aware that it's not me that I'm looking to people to engage with. They're looking to engage with God, and I'm helping people to find their own relationship with God. And sometimes you have to get out of the way of that and make sure that they're not becoming dependent on you, because that's the very last thing I would want to do. And therefore, that's why I stopped a lot of personal ministry to people, because I didn't want people to think, well, I'm the only one they can go to, or I'm the only one who can do this, or I'm the only one who could pray over them or prophesy over them. It's like, no, I'm not going to be prophesying, telling you what God is saying, when God is wanting you to go and engage for it yourself so you can hear him saying it. Otherwise, it becomes a sort of self-defeating thing. So I'm sort of very aware of the role of a forerunner. At times, you have to say, go further. I'm stepping out of the way here to let you go further, or I may go and pursue something else that God is leading me towards, and maybe I'll share and open that opportunity for people to say, hey, there's more over here. But, I'm really wanting them not to make sure they don't follow me as a forerunner, but follow where God is leading this journey into. But it is a privilege to be able to engage with God and to be able to share that with others, to help inspire them that there's more, which is really what it's about for me. There is more. And if I can encourage people to see there's more and pursue that more, then I will feel that, I fulfilled some of what God is who I am in that sense. So yeah, it is good to have forerunners, but also to realize that everyone ultimately is going to possess the land, their own inheritance. It isn't only the few. The Joshua generation, if you like, are there as forerunners for the rest of the world, in that sense, of the children of God, to come into their identity and inheritance as sons. And for that to take place, you've got to realize that you are no different as anybody else in one sense. You just have a role that you fulfill. And I'm very aware that you've got to be careful not to create some sort of hierarchical structure, or even sort of a sense of, well, forerunners are better, or they're more special to God. Actually, forerunners is hard being a forerunner, and you've got to make the way and find the way, and it's not an easy thing to do. So I don't think it's an easy thing, and it isn't something which I think God makes it easy for forerunners, because he definitely doesn't. But in reality, I'm happy to be who God made me to be and help other people to find where they are. But in some way, I think everyone will be a forerunner. If you're part of the Joshua generation, then you are a forerunner, but you will connect with people that I can't. That's the key. There's 5 other people here who can then connect with many more people than I can, and therefore you will be a forerunner to them. So there's always somebody to reach and engage and help on the journey, without having to think, well, we're the only ones. You know, it's like, if I am not helping other people be forerunners, then I'm not really doing a forerunner role, you know. And if you suddenly get to the point where, well, I'm the forerunner and, you know, everyone else is just following, then I think that attitude really is not the right attitude to have. And I'd much rather just get out of the way and let people then go further and into the spheres that they are operating in, which is not, you know, won't be mine. But there are so many more. All of you have the potential for reaching how many people within your spheres, and then helping those people reach their spheres, and eventually seeing the kingdom infiltrate like leaven into the whole lump, bit by bit, person by person, you know, as we share and help people into the relationship that God has for them and into their identity, which is, you know, a wonderful thing to do to help see people find their identity is great.